Alright? I want to talk about winning and losing. Some people say to me, there's no point in fighting. There's no point fighting back, man. They'll always win. The bastards, the rich, the bosses, the fucking, the aristocracy, the ruling class, the elite, whatever you want to call them, the establishment, the politicians, they'll always win. There's no point in fighting back. There's no point in resisting. They'll always win. No, that's not the case, right? It's true, sometimes they win. Quite often they win. But they don't always win. And I can give you some examples of when they've lost, when we've won, when our side has won. I made a couple of videos about the miners' strike. Alright, in 1984 to 85, the miners were defeated. But in 1972 and 1974, the miners won. 2 strikes, 72 and 74. In 72, the miners won almost doubling their wages. That was what they came out of that strike with, almost double wages. I think it was something like a 43% pay rise. That's what they won. And it wasn't even a long strike. Nothing like as long as 84, 85. So the miners won then, and they won in 74. Sadly, they were beaten in the 80s, but that wasn't inevitable either. They could have won. You've got to remember the miners were far fewer in number in the 80s than they were in the early 70s. So they weren't as strong. Their union wasn't as strong. Pit closures had happened gradually, so there was a lot less miners in the 80s. And there was other reasons for the defeat in the 80s. But the point is, they won previous to that. Other examples, the poll tax in the early 90s, that was defeated by a movement against it, an organised movement. They had to get rid of the poll tax. Thatcher's government had to get rid of the poll tax because there was too much opposition. The opposition was huge. There was even riots. But the movement itself was massive. It wasn't just riots. It was a massive campaign. And they got rid of the poll tax. So, that was another victory. On a local level, I'll give you an example of victory. I was involved in the campaign to stop the closure of Sunderland Central Fire Station in 2014. Now, if that fire station had closed, it would have been disastrous. Today, it's the second busiest fire station in the northeast. Now, imagine if it wasn't there. For fuck's sake, we'd all be at higher risk of injury or death. So, it had to be stopped. We fought that, and we won. It's still open to this day, but it wouldn't have stayed open if we hadn't fought to keep it open. So we won that. We lost the battle to keep the libraries open. You cannot win them all, do you know what I mean? But it's just not true that the bastards always win. It's not true. Sometimes they lose. Sometimes we lose. Our side loses. But you've got to fight to find out, haven't you? You can't just roll over. You can't just accept defeat without a fight. Imagine that. If everybody just, instead of fighting back, everybody just accepted defeat straight away. No fight back. Imagine if the miners had just rolled over. Oh, you want to shut down all our pits? Alright then, go on. Please yourself. We're not going to day out about it. No, you fight them. And if you lose, you lose, but you fight them. You try not to lose. You try your best not to lose. And you might lose in the end, but you might win as well. That's the point. It's not inevitable that you'll lose. So why give up at the very beginning? Why let them fucking Do you know what I mean? Why let them win straight away? It's fucking ridiculous. So, yeah. If you're a socialist like me, your philosophy is always to fight. Always. If somebody was giving you a good kicking and you were at risk of serious injury or death, you wouldn't just let them do it, would you? You wouldn't. You'd do whatever you had to do to survive, to get out of that situation. You would do whatever was necessary. I would. Most people would. So why does lots of people just fucking buckle at the first sign of any bother from the people above them, the rich and powerful? You shouldn't buckle. The working class is too soft these days. We've been divided so much, we've been battered so much, and we haven't, new generations haven't got the experience of fighting back. So confidence is low. Militancy is low. We need to rebuild that. Rebuild confidence and strength in the working class. And that's only going to happen gradually. It's not going to happen overnight. But fucking hell, every little battle counts, man. Every little battle, every little struggle counts. They all add up. They all build confidence. Every little victory builds confidence. So we've got to fight back to gain those little victories until eventually, one day, we gain the ultimate victory. The ultimate fucking victory. The revolution. The revolutionary victory. The working class overthrows the rich ruling class and creates a new society. Well, that's possible. It's just as possible as every other victory. We just need to make it fucking happen. That's all. Anyway, see you in the next one.